Okay, how do we know we're on the right path?
Yeah. What does one look for to know that he's on that path?
Well, yeah, how do you know you're on the right path?
Yeah. How do you know they're on the right path? How do you know? What do you...
From my experience,
Or whatever experience, yeah.
every time I had a good feeling about something, I just went with it. But at the same time, I could not explain it. I didn't have any proof that this was right.
Yep.
So, definitely doesn't live in the physical realm. It's a spiritual path.
Spiritual.
Yeah. It's spiritual. You can't put words to it. You just know. There's a feeling of knowing. Now that comes with intuition as well. That, yeah, it's just a feeling. You know that this is what I'm meant to be doing, where I'm meant to be. It's a feeling.
Also, you can... yeah, agreed there. Obviously. It's a kind of a feeling. Sometimes, look, obviously life is a lesson. Yeah, we learn shit every day. We learn, we experience. And depends which point of your life, at which point in your life you're in, sometimes you've got nothing to validate whether you're on the right path or not. You don't know where the fuck you're going. You might be trying to get somewhere. You might have goals and shit, but there's nothing, no one's coming as, not, God or whatever, is not sending you an email saying like you're doing well.
Yeah, there's no checkpoints, really. There's no physical path that's been laid out.
No.
You're just going with feeling as your internal GPS, for example, guiding you.
Yeah.
Do you believe that? Well, actually, I do. Are we all on the right path by default? And you might say if that was the case, everyone will get to where they're going to get to, which they will in the end, all right? But...
Will they?
Well...
Nah, that's fucking...
Everyone's going to go from, where, from, as Wayne Dyer says, from nowhere, because you came from nowhere, you're going to go back to nowhere.
To now here.
That's right. Exactly. From nowhere to now here to nowhere.
Everyone's on a path.
That's right. They're on a path.
It is the right path. Everyone is on the right path.
That's what I'm saying to you. It is the right path.
But I'll explain again.
So basically, to bring it in perspective here, the backstory is that, and Wayne used to say this all the time, in your mum's belly, you didn't have to worry about if your fingers will grow, what colour your eyes are going to be, if you're going to have a nose.
Breathing, eating,
breathing,
sulking,
whatever.
Fucking, yeah.
That's right, exactly. So all that was taken care of for you. And his theory was that once you're born...
You're fucked.
No. If you didn't interfere, the rest of your life, which we're talking about the path, are we on purpose, whatever, that should work the same way. If the first 9 months worked, without you doing anything, and you got your nose and you got your fingers and you got your eyes, why wouldn't the rest of your life be the same? Now, the explanation is because we created an ego. So as soon as we were born, we're like, sweet, it's in our hands now, we'll do what the fuck we want. We don't need to rely on God, the universe, whatever.
These are physical traits he's talking about as well.
That's right.
Like there's an end. I'm not going to grow a third dick there.
No, of course not.
Second one.
No, of course not.
So it's like
But
there's an end to that maturation.
What he's talking about, apart from the physical, he's talking about the allowing process. That we weren't concerned. We weren't getting involved with what's going on.
No.
He's saying to just live your life.
Just
And
live
whatever's
your life.
going to come, is going to come. It's coming to mold you for your own good.
Of course.
Yeah. The reason, so that, I believe you get a tick there, that everyone's on that path. The reason, the explanation is why don't people get what they want, first of all, is they don't know what they want, really. And B, even if they did know what they want, even though they were true to what I want, most people don't get it because they don't allow it to happen. They always fuck themselves up. They get in their own way. And that's the reason why people don't get what they want.
All right. So, from what I understand, what you're saying is that in a perfect world, because Wayne Dyer's talking about a perfect world. He's talking about a perfect situation here. He's
Yes,
talking
of
about
course.
heaven,
Of course.
where the things that retard or skew your path or change your path. Let's say your path is laid out. We never know what that looks like because we introduce negative thoughts as far as judgment, self-criticism, all, people pleasing, all these things that come from fear-based negative emotions. You start to question yourself. That changes what you think your path should be, rather than like not judging the path or just living, so-called just living. Like you're just living, all your actions is coming straight from the source, let's say, the pure self, which is you're living true to you, and nothing is retarding that, right? Nothing is fucking that up or warping that.
Yeah.
All these
You're
extra
not
things,
getting sidetracked.
you're not getting sidetracked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because there's always two paths. And what happens is we blend those paths. Because I believe, there's a good and the bad in that. Good, evil, whatever. Negative, positive. If we didn't have no negative, by rights, but this is like the Garden of Eden type shit, we would just walk the path and do and live out and fulfill our life's purpose, let's say. Wouldn't question it. But question and doubt comes from that negativity, that evil side.
That's right.
Obviously. Now, how do we get out of that? I don't know, it's a tough one. It's maybe another question. But how do we see through the shit? Because that's what we're dealing with now, yeah? All of us are human beings. We live life. We pick up habits, negative habits, self-doubts and that.
Yeah, how do you know, one of the questions would be, how do you know if, you're acting outside, you're acting from the ego, you're acting out of the ego, or you're acting out of the true self? Because you're going forward anyway. Like, when I mean forward, time is ticking. You're getting older. You're going through the cycle of your life.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
You're a baby, and God willing, you'll be
An
old cunt at some stage. This is happening.
That's right.
How it happens, it's up to the decision making.
And at what level it happens at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's the part that's in your control. That's the part that's, God has said, free will. That's where you get free will from.
Yeah, you can choose to be a dumb cunt or not.
That's it. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be sad. You can choose to be anything. These are choices. No one is forcing these emotions onto you. This is totally in your control.
Correct. Although it doesn't feel that way, obviously.
Of course. It never does.
Until you know.
And exactly. Until you know that it's up to me, until you know that you're the boss and you're not the victim, And yeah, the game's not rigged. Because the game is not rigged.
No. The game is the game for a reason.
Now,
Yeah.
you could have a different start to everybody else. That is a thing. You grew up in a family that there was no dad or mum, or your parents were junkies, whatever. A really shit start. Other people, got married into wealth, got given a lot of things.
Yeah.
So the starting point is different for everybody. That is clear. The end is the unclear part. But we've all got the tools, which is a fact. We've all got the tools, and you can change your life. So it doesn't matter what start you had, you've got the tools, and you've got the choice.
Correct.
Now, apart from the physical, it could be, born with, a very bad disability, whatever, all that sort of stuff. We're talking about the mental game. How you feel about life and where you're going, and can you change it?
Correct. Not only that, do you think there's a minimum requirement to hit the so-called purpose level, like the certain prerequisites, that if you hit these prerequisites, you'll feel like some sort of maybe fulfillment, or you feel
like give an example.
You're alive. Like, for instance, for me to be happy, I don't necessarily need to become the president of a small country.
No, of course not.
All right,
or a billionaire,
or any heir, because to say that's your purpose, I don't think we were designed with that. Like, that's adopted.
No,
when we're born,
it is.
That's one of those things that's adopted. I'm not saying it's not a positive thing. It's got nothing to do with that. But is that needed for you to hit that?
No, definitely not.
You know what I'm
100% not.
There's a level of what are we going to call this thing? Like a
fulfillment.
Yeah, fulfillment, or some sort of happiness, or maybe more fulfillment.
It's fulfillment.
Than anything. But it's like a
self-worth.
Yeah, but there's a level of fulfillment. Maybe there's different levels of fulfillment. Maybe you can be fulfilled like maybe it doesn't stop. Like, once you're full, maybe you get used to that fullness, and I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, you could be fulfilled spiritually. You can also be fulfilled physically,
Yeah, I'm talking spiritually.
Yeah.
Spiritually, emotionally, the way you feel about yourself and your relation to the world.
Yeah, you can be fulfilled. There is, for sure.
Right. Now, I don't think that's different for everyone.
No, everyone would have, spiritually, everyone would have the same result as fulfillment, because everyone just wants to be loved.
Certain things.
Yeah, that makeup, because we are human beings, that makeup would be the same for everybody.
Right.
It's the physical that, let's say, convinces us, or we're convinced that we are different. Because you might want something else, I want something else, someone else wants something else. But in the spiritual game, as human beings, we all want the same thing.
Yeah, like, for instance, the body works the same. Health works the same everywhere. It should. So if you're healthy, fulfillment is a form of health. As opposed to I'm unfulfilled, that's a level of spirituality that is unhealthy, in my opinion.
Okay. Sweet.
Like I'm unfulfilled. Like you're not getting your spiritual vitamins, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're not healthy on
Yeah,
that level.
dis-ease.
All that. You know what I mean? It's something that's not at the top level of where it should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not firing all cylinders.
You're not there. So what I'm trying to say is there is a level of like we need to breathe oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Of course.
Like human beings, we need to breathe oxygen. We need water and shit. We need to eat certain foods to repair the bodies of molecules.
Yeah, minerals and shit.
Correct. Obviously, that's a big discussion in and of itself. You know, health and all that bullshit. But we need to move. We need to have some sort of resistance. You know, the body needs to be, a stronger body is more resilient to bullshit, disease, or just living longer in general.
Yes.
All right, these things are like a fact. Obviously, there's levels in that. So what I'm trying to say is now, fulfillment, all right, is there should be a level. Like, for instance, you do like, you walk, you go to the gym, you might walk, you might do a little bit of jogging, who the fuck knows, but you got a general level of fitness.
Mm-hmm.
You're ticking a box as far as what the body needs, eh?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to sitting on the couch is the zero box / unfulfilled physically. Working out, you're doing it. You might not be the fucking best, the fittest person in the world.
Of course.
All right, which is the far end of the spectrum, but you're giving the body enough resistance to tick the healthy box.
Yeah,
for lack of a
you're
better
within
word.
the guidelines.
You're in the guidelines of like, I'm doing myself a favour here, eh?
That's right.
There's a net positive. There's we're going forward, as opposed to sitting on the couch. We're not going anywhere. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
There is a backwards.
There is. Yeah, you're going with the natural flow of things.
Yeah, you're ticking a box.
The body needs to move.
I'm trying to give a good
the body needs to move in order to operate at its optimal. If the body doesn't move, then it starts to seize, and then you got disease. You got things not working the way they should be.
Yeah.
So everything needs, like a car. A car needs oil, water, fuel,
Servicing,
the whole thing. So that they're kind of, when you buy a car, you're signing up to an agreement really that I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah, correct. So there's a certain amount of movement or physical exercise that ticks a lot of boxes as far as the body. If you do this, the body will operate better.
Yes, correct.
Or the not better. Let's say the way it should.
Yeah.
At a standard.
Yeah, it needs certain things like a car. It needs certain things.
Yeah, you're not necessarily a race car.
No.
But you're moving good. Everything's fucking... You're guaranteed to last longer.
Correct.
All right? Whatever that fucking means to you guys. So, tick. There would be a version of fulfillment that aligns with that kind of tick into the box, that minimum requirement.
It does.
Like I said, if being in a fucking basement as a sex slave chained up there would be like the zero, sitting on the couch, no fulfillment. All right, you actually you're going backwards. You're getting taken away. Your emotion, your everything is taken away from you there. That's one end of the scale. Let's work out the highest level of what fulfillment would mean. What's the highest level?
Fulfillment will mean to experience love as much as possible in every moment.
All right.
And that's not only love like I love my missus, I love my child, but I love myself.
Can't give a fuck about me?
Yeah, can't give a fuck about that. I do. I care about myself. I treat myself well. I definitely have great experiences that I like, doing things, going in the snow, going snowboarding, or traveling to destination, whatever, hanging out with friends, doing things that you like doing.
Yeah, you're pretty much a tip in the scales of negative and positive fulfillment experiences, let's say.
Yeah.
and your environment.
Yeah. But also as well in a spiritual.
Because fulfillment is an experience.
That's right.
Your version of
it is.
life. Yeah.
It is. Also, to be at peace
Thanks.
in many, like a lot of moments in your life as well. Like being at peace. Like I'm not talking about sitting on the mountain.
You're not getting cooked in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So in the mind, you're just doing your thing, but you're not carrying any baggage, extra weight. Like if you're going to work, for example, it doesn't have to be exciting that I'm going to work.
Going to work, you like a job. Or whatever.
Yeah, just doing your job. You're just doing what you like. Even if you're not doing what you like, even scale it back a bit. Even if you're just doing something because it's serving your purpose and you're working towards something, like how are you going to work? With what kind of mindset? Am I going to work I'm fucking hating it? I'm going to work that this is just part of my path and I'm just happy to be alive and I'm just doing my thing. I know where I'm going. That's a form of peace.
Yeah, you're good at life.
Yeah.
You got everything sorted.
Yeah.
It's not life's easy.
No.
Hard and easy is not a positive or negative
no.
thing. It's that things go the way that you've designed them, pretty much.
Yeah, you're okay with where you are and where you're going. And you're not getting fucking cooked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously, I'm trying to say, like, the pinnacle, the highest level.
Yeah, the pinnacle is always before. Pinnacle is like great experiences, love,
Yeah, your day job would be fucking...
Yeah.
You're loving it.
Doing
you're
what
getting
you're
fulfilled from
doing what we're doing.
You're getting fulfilled from everything you do.
That's it.
You're eating, you're like, this is the fucking best fucking food I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got a lot of ticks.
Yes. Like everything you do is giving you that fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't have to look a certain way, as in.
No. It's all feeling.
I've got to live in a certain house. That's
that's external.
That's not necessary.
Materialistic. This and that. We're talking about feeling here.
Yeah. Because everything's relative.
Yeah.
So then the middle ground, or the tick in the box of that,
the entry level of, the bare minimum.
The average.
Yeah.
Go the average, not the bare minimum. Yeah. Not just scraping in there.
I'm just saying, like, just to paint a picture of, like, at least be doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's two stages. You're either in it or you're at the top of it. Or you're obviously not in it at all, obviously. You're copping.
No, there's definitely stages.
Yeah.
Just what stage are you at?
Yeah.
And are you progressing?
Yeah.
Are you getting better?
Yeah, correct. I don't think there's too many levels because life's not broken up into a million levels.
It's not a million levels.
It's not. There's only like 3 levels there.
Yeah, it's either in the middle or at opposite ends.
Yeah, it's mind, body, spirit. And all those have to get they're ticking boxes. There's a ticking of a box.
They have to be aligned as well. In order to get to that pinnacle you're talking about, they have to be aligned. You've got to be firing on all cylinders on all 3 of them.
Yeah, that's right. So, for instance, you might have good friends and stuff, and you're like, yep, that's ticking a box for me.
Yes.
That's ticking a box for me because all these things that we're talking about, we've got to think of things as like we're back in like caveman days. We've got nothing around us. Your day job would be hunting and being good at that job.
That's right.
And you're really, quite literally bringing home the bacon. So you'd be like, that reward of like we get to eat again. That, in my opinion, it's a high level of fulfillment. Obviously, nowadays it's turned into a job, or how we. There's
a lot more variables.
Yeah, but I'm saying the old school hunting looks like a job now.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
as
yes.
a man.
Yes,
That's what I
of course.
reckon.
Yes, it is. It is.
That's what it is.
100%.
Obviously, things are more simpler, so you can tick that box of fulfillment in that area.
Yeah.
You know, your box is like so low to tick. We get fucked up, obviously, because we add all these negative things, like we spoke about before, that warp that sense of what do I think I need that's going to make me happy or fulfilled.
Yeah, what's the important part here?
Yeah.
And don't worry about the other dangling carrots.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to come from like how do we achieve a level of fulfillment? You know, the conversation of how do we achieve a level of fulfillment without materialistic things?
Well, that's the problem. The problem is we're chasing these things.
Yeah.
Because we're convinced that these things are going to give us joy, are going to give us fulfillment.
Yeah.
And we're on a journey of acquiring this stuff.
But that's the retarded part about it.
I know that.
But that's what I'm saying. What's the real part?
The real part is, as a human being, you don't need too much
That's right.
in order to be fulfilled.
Correct.
That's the only truth that exists.
Correct. Now, mentally, all right. So one part's like, you know, your family, your friends. They're like ticking that box of like you said, like, you know, there's you got trust, you got the love. You know, this scenario does it for me. I feel like I'm part of something, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, how fulfilled can you be in that way? I'm so fulfilled.
You can be very fulfilled. Simplicity. It's always.
It's simplicity.
That's all it is. We've just been hijacked. That's all it is. Our mind's been hijacked, leading to believe that more is better.
But less is more.
But yeah, well, less is more. That's what it is. Because the reality is, if anyone looked at their past, the happiest times were simple. Like, example, some of the happiest times would have been like just kicking back, having a drink with a couple of mates. That's it. Just in nature, for example, or at the beach. You know, I've felt that a lot of times. Just having a barbecue with some mates, kicking back and having a laugh. That's it. It's not more. It's not more complicated than that.
No. Look, I think it can be a little bit different for different people, as far as like your personality might be fulfilled from doing like more passive, peaceful kind of activities.
Yeah, it won't be the same for everybody, but everybody has got a simplistic version to that.
Correct. Like everyone's looking for this fulfillment, but I feel like it has to be expressed in a different way. Now, forget about what it looks like. I feel like everything stems from like, I'll give you an example. Some people get fulfillment out of fishing.
For sure.
Okay, now fishing is an activity or lawn bowls. Yeah, whatever.
Or painting.
Chess. Yeah. So I think that kind of it gives them something.
You could be just sitting on a rock and looking at the horizon.
Yeah. But I feel like that's one style of fulfillment that a person can get.
Yeah.
All right, cool, no problem. Sometimes fulfillment is might be a more active, not so much passive. Fishing to me is a little bit passive. Passive because yes, you're doing something, but it's not risky. It's
No, of
not.
course There's no threat.
Yeah, like I think everyone must be different, man, because it's like, but it all can be done through natural means, let's say, right?
Exactly.
Like, for instance, the other day I was watching TV and I was like, just sitting around, all right, feeling like, I don't know if the word's flat, but just feeling like just normal fucking cunt, right? Just feeling like a normal cunt. And then something happened with like, I was watching like Reacher, all right? This guy was like fucking slapping cunts, fucking killing cunts. And anyway, I started getting happy. I'm like, fuck. Why am I getting so happy when I'm seeing cunts die and shit? Like, what is it about that? And I'm thinking like, I need more of that. That makes me feel like I'm alive.
Killing people.
Not just killing people, but action. I'm not going to get fulfillment out of fishing, yeah? I'm not going to get fulfillment out of like kicking back and like looking over the horizon, or I'm not.
No, of course, everyone's different in that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think we're trying to say here also that it's simplistic. You know what I mean? That basically there wouldn't be, to think of it now, money wouldn't help you in this situation. It doesn't have to. Like the caveman and us now, when it comes to fulfillment, are totally the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah, correct.
He can reach fulfillment to the highest level back then, and so can we. There's no money involved. There's no cars involved. There's no nothing. You can reach fulfillment with what you've got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, correct. What I'm saying is, the caveman, there would have been a guy who...
Because it could have been exciting, you know, on the hunt, this and that you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That he had that, though.
But there would have been a guy maybe who was better at tracking.
Of course.
Or a cunt who liked making the weapons. Do you know what I mean? Different styles of fulfillment within the...
But we're saying as well that it doesn't matter where you are, everyone's got the same opportunity.
Correct. And yeah, that's right. And it can look different, but that's about knowing what makes your heart work.
Tick,
or,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
what makes you feel alive.
That's it. You like this, someone else likes to fish, someone else likes to look at the horizon, like I mentioned before. It's different. You just got to know what makes you tick.
Yeah, like if you lean towards like risky stuff, you want your heart to like go a little bit, right? Then you got to do that sort of thing. Yeah,
you could climb, you know what I mean? Which is risky, you know?
Yeah,
rock climbing, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Not necessarily like life riskiness, not like your life's on the line.
Okay.
But it could be like, I don't know, getting into entrepreneurship, like putting your house on the line to buy a business.
Sweet.
These things are like, you're taking risks.
Yeah.
You got to be onto it.
Yeah. More tapped in, this and that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sweet.
There's a competition element, like I gotta win.
Yeah. That's different. That's different. You're talking about the emotions.
We're all going off feelings here.
Of course.
So when something's like hard, like I'm not into bungee jumping or skydiving, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But when I watch cunts kicking ass and fucking
I think excitement is what you're talking about. Excitement.
Yeah, bravo. Yes.
Because when you're looking at the horizon, you're not excited.
No.
You're just like, I'm at peace. Sorry. But you're talking about excitement.
Yeah. I'm talking about like, raising the stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to feeling asleep.
Sweet. Different strokes from different folks.
That's what I'm saying. Like some people, there's more of a, like, I don't know if it's like I don't know. It feels like it's got something to do with like, everyone's got like connected to like a different, and it's a bit off the road here, but I'm feeling like different personalities like connect to different like elements. Like
Yeah.
let's say if you're more like an earth cunt, you might be your fulfillment comes from more grounded activities. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
For
you
sure.
like if you're a fire cunt, you're more likely to be.
Adventurous or something.
You need things to be going on.
A bit more spicy.
A bit more spicy to feel like a pulse. Like let's say.
Yeah. To feel like you're alive.
Yeah. Isn't it today?
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Isn't that what it is?
For
though?
sure. It's,
Like for instance, you're talking about that like looking over the horizon, or or whatever the fuck, or you're out in the nature, and you're like, I feel alive or whatever.
yeah, puts things into perspective. You feel, you're hanging out with you. You're practicing, letting go.
Is feeling alive different to fulfillment?
Same thing. You're flowing with that energy. That's what it is. Fulfillment. Fulfillment is feeling alive. Feeling like, fuck, I'm where I'm meant to be. I'm enjoying this moment. I'm fulfilled.
Yeah, bravo. Yeah, it's a thing.
It is a thing. Because, again, it's not external. And this is the whole fucking point here. Like sitting on the horizon, sitting and watching the horizon, or sitting and fishing, it's got nothing to do with money. It's got nothing to do with other people. You're just there. It doesn't take too much effort, that's for sure. You don't have to be a champion at fishing to enjoy fishing.
No.
It's easy. The effortless action of these things is part of the fulfillment characteristics, part of the fulfillment criteria. Yeah, fulfillment doesn't ask for something you can't already do.
Yeah, that also shows your path.
Yeah,
The more fulfilled you are, you can't be in a wrong path. You can't be.
it's
off
impossible.
The path.
You can't be.
Do you know what I mean? There is a sign, if you will, because we spoke about
The checkpoints, this and that. Yeah,
You can see what it looks like. You can feel like fuck.
yeah. I'm on the right path.
How wrong can it be? It feels so good.
No, you can't.
So that's another way.
It is. Yeah, they're indicators
Bravo. That's
that
it.
you're on the right path.
But you got to know who you are. Like I said, like I was in the city the other day in South Bank, and I was like, buildings. I'm surrounded by buildings and shit. The Yarra River, and that's there, and I'm like, I don't know what it is about this, but I feel like alive in a sense, like amongst the buildings and people and fucking
The hustle and bustle.
like things are moving. There's an organism here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I guess some people feel like that when they go to like clubbing or they dance or something like that.
They
It
do.
gives them like a feeling of like almost like, is it euphoria? Maybe it's
so.
euphoria.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Like your senses are buzzing.
Correct. Something about the cold that has a weird feeling like that to me too. Like I
Yeah.
remember when I was overseas in Holland and I was in The Hague and I was like, it was fucking freezing.
I think it keeps you in the present. The cold keeps you in the present.
Yeah, but it was like I was so stimulated by I was overseas, I was on my own, I couldn't sleep. Like I was so wired. For some reason I was like, fuck, I'm here on my own. It was like ridiculous today. I was fucking boiling my ass off today.
Yeah.
Couldn't sleep. I woke up 3 a.m, went outside the hotel, rolled a fat ass doobie, and I fucking blazed that shit today. And I was outside, I was like, fucking, I need more cold, like, to cool me down.
Yeah, different environment does it for you, because that was a different environment to what you're used to.
Yeah.
Um,
That
it's
variety
very
made
stimulating. Yeah, it is. Like I felt that a lot of times in maybe in New York. Like I don't love cities, but I don't hate them either. You know what I mean? Like I could be in a city or I could be regional, for example. You know, in a mountain somewhere. It's like I like a variety of different things.
Yeah.
You know, like I love the thought of New York being 24/7. Like I can go do something right now, and there's so much to see, and there's so much to do.
Yeah.
And again, that doesn't have to be with money. Like, money just increases the level. Money's not a bad thing. It just increases the level. Knowing that you don't need the money is where mastery comes into it.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, different environments do that for you, for sure.
All right.
Different landscape.
All right. Let's say, do you like mountains and shit?
I do.
What is it about it? Like, if you've ever been in the wilderness, or what is it about it that pulls you? Like
one thing it just makes me, it just grounds me. It feels like there's something bigger than me. Like, I don't know. I remember standing in Mount Olympus. Just felt like I could see the world. Like I felt fuck. Like sometimes I felt like
you're insignificant.
Not insignificant.
Not
I wouldn't say-
insignificant.
yeah, I was about to say like, I'm like a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a vastness, a bigger world. There's I don't know. It makes you feel alive. It just, I can't find the words. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like not insignificant, but like small. There's a reflection.
We're part of something bigger.
We're part of something bigger. Yeah. Also, you're small in comparison to the world.
Yeah, it's a fucking mountain.
Like you can easily just be forgotten.
Yeah,
like
I can lose myself there. I can whatever. I don't know. There's something.
You're not thinking about your problems or whatever.
No. Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
There's something beautiful about it. It comes from beauty. It brings perspective. You definitely forget your problems. That's for sure. You're not connected to your problems. You're actually connected to the source of all things. God. You know what I mean? Like, you're out of your comfort zone, which is a good fucking thing. Comfort zone's like shit. It's always shit. Even though it feels cozy, it is not great. It doesn't make your comfort zone never makes you feel alive.
Comfort zone. Yeah. Depends how good your norm. Depends how good your comfort zone is. Like some people's comfort zone can keep them in they're dead,
Of course.
But I feel like there's levels to comfort zones.
There is levels.
You can have it good and
But I don't think you feel alive on a comfort zone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I would say alive.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Like you're not getting chased by a fucking tiger.
Saying, yes, I'm not saying you don't feel good at all.
You know what I mean?
But that experience, let's say, standing on top of a mountain, or be in the middle of the ocean, or whatever, you're not getting that in your comfort zone. Not that you have to either. You can just be kicking it at home by the fireplace with your missus, your child, and just having a laugh and enjoying that moment 100%.
Yeah, that is a comfort zone.
Yeah, it is a comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah, the comfort zone's got a bad rap.
Yeah. I just thought we're talking about like more of excitement and this and that, and being in another country, this and that. But yeah, there's different feelings.
But that could be a comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Like feeling alive.
I don't think it's a comfort zone. It could be in the middle between comfort and a bit of fear. Like there's.
Well, adventure only comes with uncertainty.
That's it. That's not
what
fear,
it is.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
I'll correct myself. Yeah. So comfortable,
and
but
fun.
Uncertainty. Yeah.
Fun is another word for
which
adventure.
Which equals excitement.
Yeah.
So. No, for sure, 100%. Comfort zone is not always a bad thing.
Fuck.
It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Which you're talking about before with reach and excitement, and that's another form of it. But at the end of the day, yeah, look, fulfillment's where it's at. Fulfillment can be achieved by anyone at any time. And what stops fulfillment is you.
Allowing yourself to see what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Is it related to
the ego self, which is you, or part of you, will stop that flow. That's the only thing that can stop that flow. That's it.
Fulfillment.
That's the deciding factor.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why we mentioned from the start, everyone's on the path, everyone's going to where they're going. Fulfillment is omnipresent, so it can be done at any time. So what would stop us would be the ego, ourselves.
So our goal should not be happiness. It should be fulfillment.
No, it's guaranteed.
But then it comes to know thyself. Yeah.
100%.
What does that look like?
Yeah, what gives you fulfillment? If you look in your past, what have you done that made you feel fulfilled? And then you keep on doing more of that. And that's how you start getting better. And then you can also say, like you mentioned before, go on adventures. What would I like to do? Which I haven't done. Because people don't like fucking sushi. But they never had sushi before. How could you not like it? People are going around like, yeah, I'm not down with America. Sweet. Have you ever been? No. There's all these beliefs that are just fucking straight bullshit.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Correct. It's like, yeah, we're holding ourselves prisoner here. So do what you've liked doing in the past, but also try things that you wouldn't mind trying.
Yep.
You might like it. Now, a lot of people can say that, yeah, I don't have money to do these things. Yes. Sometimes it takes a bit of money. But it doesn't mean you can't have fulfillment with no money. You can just go to the mountain. You can just go fishing. You can just go and sit on a rock and watch see the horizon. All this sort of stuff. But we discount this stuff. And I've been guilty of this as well. Heaps of times.
Because it's easily accessible.
It's easy accessible and like, sweet, excuse me, what's it going to do for me?
What's it going to change in my life?
Exactly. Like how does looking at the horizon and feeling slightly better gonna solve this problem in my life? And that's the disconnect. That doesn't equal this.
It's two different things.
Two different things.
It's like if I sorry to
that's right. Go.
If I have a good diet today, how's that gonna make me more money?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If I exercise, how's it gonna get rid of this fucking bitch I live with?
Yeah.
For example.
These things don't have to equal each other. They don't have to, you know.
They've got their own box that they tick.
That's it. The whole point here is that, let's say for example, you kicking it on the mountain and going, you know, to nature, it definitely is not going to pay your bills. It's definitely not going to solve your problem with your siblings or whatever it might be. But what it will do is first it's going to relax you. It might give you some time to breathe. Okay? And it's going to make you feel better. And then when you come back, that feeling better would allow you to sort of think of things in a different way. Maybe create another solution. See it another way. Because we're convinced that if we're looking at one thing one way, we're convinced that that is the way. And nothing else exists apart from that.
Correct.
But that's lopsided perception. That's straight fucking lopsided. like my way or the highway. It's like that's the only way. It's not, because you don't know everything.
So what I think we're saying here is, which is interesting, there's a battle of good and evil. The more boxes you tick of fulfillment, all right, which is just a feeling at the end of the day, true?
Correct.
The more boxes you can tick, the more full you are. It's like when you eat. The full you are, you don't feel like eating.
No.
A lot of our problems come from, I don't have enough food to eat.
Yeah.
Metaphorically.
I'm always hungry.
I'm always hungry because I'm not fulfilled. I haven't drank enough water.
Yeah.
My cup is not, runneth over and fulleth, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck.
I'm always fasting.
I'm always fasting. I'm fucking
I'm waiting for the
thirsty
big moment that where someone, we're going to get that big feed.
to fill up.
That's right.
So really, our outside world is dictated by our inside world.
Correct.
So we think we want money because we don't feel valuable.
Correct.
That's we think we want
This,
more,
this chick in our lives to love us because we haven't got love.
or we don't love ourselves.
That's right.
We think they're going to give it to us.
That's right.
So we think that we're materialistic. We think that material things are going to solve our problems, but the materialism is based off an immaterial thing. So really, we're already running
At a loss.
Not running. I mean, like already, our motivation comes from the way we feel. That's our perceptions about things. It's the way we feel is dictating that thing.
Yeah.
Therefore, if we feel like we ate food and we're full, there's no need to go to McDonald's anymore. McDonald's isn't going to cure anything.
No.
The extra burger is not going to cure everything.
No. You're not going to want it. If you're full,
you're not gonna
you
want it.
really don't want it.
Correct. If you want money, you don't want money because you don't have enough. Are we trying to say that you get the money, you're not going to want more money?
You're always going to want more money.
Yeah. So fulfillment is an ongoing thing.
Yeah, but you don't want the money because you need the money. Now, I'm talking about generally, right? I'm not saying if you're completely poor,
Yeah.
let's say you're
a
just a normal person.
Yeah, you're not
right?
fighting.
You got a job, you're coming in, you got your roof over your head.
You're not living
whatever,
on the streets. That's right.
Yeah, you're not living on the streets. You just want more money because you believe that physical thing, which you're touching, okay, or whatever,
Deep down.
it's going to give you something, and it's going to give you an emotion. So you're saying, I've got this emotion, and when I get this thing, the physical thing, to cure the emotion.
Yeah, to make me feel whole.
Yeah.
To fulfill me.
Yeah, that's it.
You think the physical thing is going to fulfill you?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. But the physical thing represents a lack. When we want something, physical-wise, when we want it so bad, we think that's going to cure the thing we're missing. And it all comes down to the value we have in ourselves. Like, can we give an example that doesn't go back to value? Like, is there something people usually want money? Love?
Yeah. Adventure.
I need to go on this adventure.
Yeah, I've never done anything in my life. I've been fucking home. I've visited my parents. They told me don't go anywhere. Be safe and this and that.
I think adventure is cool to want.
It
that
is cool.
because that's you're looking for an experience.
Yeah, it is cool.
Which is an immaterial thing. Yes, you're going somewhere, but
Yes.
we're physical people. We're allowed to walk places, of course.
I know.
But I'm just saying, is there another one other than, in the material world, like money, love from someone else, something external from us? That it's pretty much that isn't it? I mean,
there is obviously. It's just most people just want those things, love and money.
Love and money is the same thing, yeah. And it's easy to say money when you don't have it. It's easy to look at it like, but deep down, we feel that's going to, at the end of the day, we feel like not only it's going to solve our problem, it's also going to make us feel better.
Yes, correct.
That's a fact.
Guaranteed.
It's going to make us feel better.
It's going to solve all problems, make us feel better.
It's going to fulfill us.
Yeah. It's going to give us, it's going to open more doors for us, which money does open doors, sweet.
But it's going
But
to
only
fulfill
open
us.
doors, yeah. It's the fulfillment part.
Yeah, but the thing is, do we feel like by having that money, that is it going to fulfill us because we're going to be someone, we're going to become someone who's worthy of good shit?
No, it's going to fulfill us because it allows us to buy more materialistic stuff.
Or is it going to make us validate our worth?
Of course, that as well. Because
that's
once
the
we
main
buy
one.
more stuff, people that we hang around will praise us, and that will make us feel better.
Yeah, that's
So-
right. It's validation.
That's what it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah, we're
It's
victims.
not that it's going to fix a problem.
No.
Yeah, and actually, it might almost do that today. But you could say that about, like, I need to find a good woman who's going to love me.
Sweet.
Cool.
And then you do, and then 3 months on the track, you have one little argument with her, and that could be like, I forgot everything that happened in the last 3 months.
She could be a pain in the ass.
That's it. It's always lopsided. It's all one-sided. It's all that. We only see the plus in it. We don't see the downside.
That's the downside. I just think...
Or the opposite side of it.
Yeah, because...
It's not a downside. It's the opposite side of it.
but you're, as far as looking for money to be fulfilled, because that's what it is. You're looking for that. We're looking for that to get fulfilled.
Yes.
We think, if we're rich and we're, successful, it's going to fulfill
We
us.
can do what we want, when we want, how we want.
But also,
That is fulfillment.
It's going
That's
to
what we
say
think.
that I am valuable.
Yes.
That's the top of the thing.
It is. Yes. I'm important. I'm someone that you'd want to hang around with. I'm important. I'm valuable. Yes. People are going to
correct.
accept me.
Correct. But
People want to hang out with me.
correct. So
Yeah, you'll be more important.
you're more important if you got money.
That's it.
You're more important.
More likable, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, correct.
But we don't see that. Sorry, go.
That's just, so I was going to say, so back to kind of what I was saying, is that the more boxes you can tick of fulfillment, like knowing what fulfills you.
Yes.
Like money isn't a thing that fulfills you.
No, it has to
when
be something internally.
Correct. Or something you do.
Yeah.
Something you do, you do it, obviously.
You obviously do it.
Something you do, somewhere you got to go, or some activity, experience based. My thing is here, the more you tick, the more you're fulfilled. The thing that you think's going to fulfill you, being the money or the materialism, won't have the power over you anymore. So if you tick this box here, that won't have the same value as it used to.
That's right.
So fulfillment and I guess self-worth have a correlation.
Yeah, but again, it's not the money. It's the result money gives.
Yeah, of course. That's
That's it. That's what it is.
Yeah, whatever you want to spin it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a
Money is just the shallow answer, the easy,
No, it's the thing that we think
Explanation.
it's going to give us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Although it gives all these, like winning the lottery is going to give us a lot of positives as well.
Yeah, because spot on. But as you said last time, if you're on a desert island and someone just out of a plane just dropped $1 billion, bang, right here. I'm living on an island and I wanted $1 billion and God sent it to me and it's right here. Here it is.
What do you do with it?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can start a fire.
Put up your ass.
Pretty limited, really.
Do you know what I mean?
Fire's a good one. Start a fire.
That's going to fulfill you.
It is.
But for some reason, the money. So what changes from I'm in society? All of a sudden, I'm not in society, and money doesn't have no
Value.
But my value is not. All of a sudden, I went from I'm not in society. I'm not playing that game anymore.
Yeah, I took the value from there, and I have to place the value somewhere else. So, on the desert island, the only place you put the other value in, because of default, no other choice, would be on yourself, because time is ticking. You're going to starve. You need shelter, so you need to really rely on you to make things happen.
Yeah. What I feel like your value can change depending on your geography.
It can. And that's just one example.
Which is weird.
It is weird. So the best way of doing it is to, value yourself, and it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, because by rights, you either, like, how do we measure ourselves? How do we where do we get our value from? How do you value yourself as a human being? That's the real question here.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I got value because I'm over here, but when I'm in this game, I'm not worth nothing.
Yeah. So that's why doing things that you like, becoming good at the things that you like, and having experiences. Really, it's not too complicated.
Yeah, how many things do we do on a daily basis that is fulfilling to us?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
That has to have, is there a happy person who's unfulfilled?
Is there a happy person? No.
That's what I'm saying.
No. And I do get people when we speak about, you're living in a rat race and you're living in a big city and you need to work and you need to earn money. I get all that.
Yeah, of course.
But what we're saying here is
but it's lifted.
Not a complicated fix. It's a simple fix, meaning that yes, you got rent to pay, you got a mortgage, you got children, you got all these other things that you believe are weights on your shoulders. Cool. Yes, you are correct. But can you carve out a small little piece of time or something to all right, you know what? I'm copping it here. All right? Maybe I can go hang out with my mates on a Friday night, just go for a drink. That's it. Or I can go fishing. Or I can just go for a walk.
Or I play sport for a club.
Whatever. Whatever. Or if you like painting, start painting. Just do something. Whatever. Either way, in the shit situation, you got to get something back. So the game is, in this situation,
stack the deck in your favour.
That's it. So how many more times can you get little wins for yourself? That's it. And even a shit situation, you can get one little win. And all it is, again, rinse and repeat, is keep on getting wins. The more wins you got, over time, things will change. It is like that. That's the way it is.
That's it today. It's
not more complicated than that.
No, it's metaphorically eating healthy, fulfillment wise, spiritually eating healthy.
Yes,
that's what it is, as opposed to the opposite, which is like eating junk food all the time.
That's it. Exactly.
One's giving, one's taking.
That's it.
And we need to go on a diet.
Yeah, where can I give to me in the shit situations I'm in?
That's what I was saying to you before, the way we give to exercise, there's certain things you can tick. The emotional, spiritual side has its own thing.
Guaranteed.
Healthy food version.
Guaranteed. And for everyone listening as well, and again, we're not talking about shit that we haven't gone through. We're talking about shit that we've gone through. So, these little wins in a shit situation, these little wins, they don't have to equal something. Like going for a walk with a mate or on your own, or going fishing on your own, whatever, that is not going to equal to I've got more money in the bank, or it's not going to equal to, you know, my job's going to get better. It's not going to equal to, you know, my kids are going to be well behaved. It's not going to equal to anything that's going to fix the shit situation initially. All it does, okay, is makes you feel better, okay, for that moment. And that time, it doesn't fix anything. But more of these things on a regular basis will eventually fix the problem here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I'll tell you the problem it does fix, right? Is it actually fixes the need to want more than you have.
Yeah, true.
So if you think your life's like, oh, this, you know, I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is it's not an initial game changer.
A lot of our problems come because we think we need something outside of us. We don't have control of something outside of us. When you tick the box of fulfillment, you don't feel the need to control something outside of you. So although it doesn't change anything physically, you don't give a fuck anymore about the thing that drained your life.
Correct.
Which is the fucking biggest thing.
Oh, no. Yes. Correct.
That's the biggest thing.
Correct.
It doesn't need to look anyway.
Yeah.
Our problem is the way we feel about things.
Yeah.
We don't like our lives.
Correct. But what I'm...
And if we do things that fulfill us, we start to like our lives.
Yeah. But we are looking for, at that point, because I've been at that point so many times, we are looking for a logical explanation. This equals this. I'm doing this because it's going to help here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to have an explanation.
No.
As long as it makes you feel better, it's better than feeling shit.
At
the worst.
At the worst.
Yes, that's it.
But we have to understand the mechanism. The reason
reason
why we do feel shit in the first place is because we want something to be a certain way that it's not.
That's right.
And
out of control, the whole thing. Yes.
That's right.
Correct.
So feeling our shit, fulfilling ourselves, makes us not want to... We don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, the mechanism we've gone over. Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying.
More of these changes your perception, will change your reality, will change everything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but initially, and that's where I used to get stuck all the time. Initially, it's like, sweet, if I lose 5 kilos, how's it going to improve my life? Big fucking deal.
Like you're not changing climate change.
Yeah.
By feeling better.
That's it.
But we don't need to change climate change.
That's it.
But if we're stressing about it, we don't need to stress about it anymore.
That's it.
We don't give a fuck about climate change.
That's
Therefore, it doesn't hold power over us.
Yeah.
All negativity is just holding power over us.
That's it.
And the more we're fulfilled, we've got bring the fuck. We stick the deck in our face.
That's it. So initially, just do things for the sake of just feeling better. That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got to do.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Focus on that, right?
The more, the merrier.
Same way you want to fucking eat healthy and work out, you got to do this version of fulfillment for the. This is the eating healthy for the spiritual fucking.
Yeah, in the spiritual realm.
In the spiritual realm. That's it. Bro.
Correct.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Practice. Practice
makes perfect. Faith, not fear.
Correct.